Welcome back to Jolly Good Journeys. Setting out from my base in Omeath, today's drive took me deep into the ancient, stony heart of the Irish countryside. I spent the afternoon tracking down some of the heaviest, most isolated megalithic masonry in the region. Let's get out there and explore. My first stop was Ballymacdermott, sitting high on a rugged ridge. Walking up to this site, the sheer primitive scale of the structure immediately commands your attention. These aren't just ruins, they are massive, uneven boulders deliberately anchored into the earth. Standing among the outer ring of stones, looking out over the sprawling, overcast valley below, the sense of absolute isolation was incredible. I took my time slowly walking through the central chamber. You don't need a plaque to understand the permanence of a place like this. Running my hands over the rough, lichen covered rock, I was captivated by the raw grit of how these massive slabs were painstakingly stacked and balanced so long ago. It's an incredibly grounding experience to stand in the quiet wind, surrounded entirely by the heavy textures of a forgotten world. Leaving the ridge behind, I made my way over to the quiet slopes of Faughart Hill. The path in opened up to a sweeping green pasture where a flock of sheep was resting quietly against the backdrop of the misty hills. It was a perfectly serene introduction to what is a deeply atmospheric sight. Moving into the old graveyard, the atmosphere shifted entirely. A massive, towering evergreen dominated the center of the grounds, standing guard over rows of heavily weathered, tilted headstones. I wandered past rusted iron fences and ornate, decaying monuments. The stone walls of the ruined church were almost entirely swallowed by thick, creeping ivy. It was a beautifully melancholic space, perfectly illustrating how the wild Irish landscape slowly reclaims even the heaviest stone. Following a narrow path past trees tied with hundreds of small ribbons and tokens, I found a set of steep, worn stone steps leading down into the earth. This is the site of a traditional holy well. Descending into that tight, damp enclosure, the temperature noticeably dropped. The dark, moss covered rocks and the quiet, standing water created an incredibly heavy, solemn atmosphere. It felt completely removed from the world above. For my final stop of the day, I sought out the megalithic stones at Proleek. Tucked away in a lush, grassy clearing bordered by a simple wooden fence, this long gallery of heavy stacked boulders is an absolute anchor in the landscape. I spent a long time just pacing the perimeter, taking in the sheer density of the construction. Getting closer, you could really appreciate the harsh, fractured edges and the patches of white and green lichen clinging to the rock. The massive capstones look as though they could crush the earth beneath them, yet they have sat in perfect, violent tension for millennia. It was the perfect, tactile end to an afternoon steeped in heavy stone and quiet landscapes. I'll be heading out from Omeath again soon to see what else this rugged coast has to offer. I'll see you in the next one.